The first time his eyes found mine, it was as if the world stopped breathing. And in that frozen second, I knew the incense was useless. I had spent 3 years hiding, 3 years suppressing the truth of what I was. In this country, an omega without protection was a bargaining chip, a prize, or worse prey. My incense charm was my shield. It masked my scent, my nature, even my heartbeat if I willed it hard enough. It worked on everyone. Until him, the Alpha General, Elias Kane. We met in a corner of downtown New York, where the city noise is a strange symphony of sirens and laughter, steam rising from manholes like restless spirits. I was walking home from my late shift at the bookstore, head down, collar up against the wind. I didn't notice the convoy of black SUVs until the crowd parted like the tide, making way for someone important. Then he stepped out, tall, every line of him honed from years of war. His coat swung open just enough for me to glimpse the medals pinned across his chest. But it wasn't his rank that made my blood run cold, it was his eyes. Sharp, focused, and locked on me like he had been searching for something and had finally found it. My pulse spiked. The incense in my pocket warmed faintly, reacting to my fear. I gripped it tighter. No way. There was no way he could tell. I tried to melt into the crowd, but a strong hand caught my wrist. Wait! His voice was deep, commanding, but there was something else under Itzamething that made my skin tingle. I didn't turn. Couldn't. The scent blocker was still burning. There was no logical reason for him to notice me, yet his fingers tightened, anchoring me in place. You shouldn't be here this late, he said. My laugh came out brittle. I live nearby. Then let me walk you home. It wasn't a question. That night marked the beginning of something I couldn't control. By the third time I saw him, Elias wasn't even trying to hide that he was following me. Whether I was stocking shelves at the bookstore or sitting in my favorite corner booth at the cafe, he appeared always in that perfectly pressed coat, always with that same unshakable gaze. I told myself it was coincidence. New York was big, but maybe his base of operations was near my neighborhood. Maybe he was the type of man who noticed strangers. But deep down, I knew better. The real trouble started when I dropped my incense charm. It happened during an unremarkable Tuesday afternoon. I was leaning over the counter to grab a shipment ledger when the string around my neck snapped. The charm, a tiny glass vial with swirling smoke inside, rolled across the floor. Before I could snatch it up, Elias Boot stopped it. He picked it up, holding it between 2 fingers, examining it like an artifact. This isn't just a trinket. I swallowed hard. It's for meditation. His eyes flicked to mine, sharp and knowing.
No.
This is an omega scent suppressor. My blood turned to ice. No one had ever guessed. No one. I should have denied it, laughed it off, anything. But my body betrayed me. The moment his voice dipped, the faintest trace of my scent leaked through, barely there, but enough for an alpha like him. His pupils dilated. His jaw clenched. Why are you hiding? He asked. I forced a shrug. Why do you care? He stepped closer, and I caught the clean scent of cedar and steel. Because I don't like it when people lie to me. After that, he didn't give me a chance to disappear. Every day, Elias found excuses to see me. Bringing coffee to the bookstore, offering rides home, standing outside during my break as if keeping watch. I hated it. I needed it. Because the truth was, part of me felt safer when he was around. And that scared me even more. New York's winter came early that year. The air was sharp, the nights long. One evening, on my way home, 2 men cornered me in an alley, eyes glinting, voices low. I felt the incense in my pocket pulse weakly, struggling to hold my scent in. One of them leaned closer, inhaling. Before I could react, a shadow moved behind them. Elias. It wasn't a fight, it was an execution. In seconds, they were on the ground, groaning, retreating into the dark. Elias grabbed my shoulders, scanning me for injuries. You're shaking, he murmured. Of course I'm shaking. I snapped, breathless. You're insane. He didn't smile. You need protection. I don't need anything from you. Yes, you do, he said, his voice low, almost tender. You just don't want to admit it. That night, as I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, his words echoed in my head. The incense vial sat on my nightstand, its glow dim. For the first time in years, I wondered what it would be like to live without Ito let someone see me, scent and all. But with Elias, nothing felt simple. And I knew he was not a man who let go of what he wanted. The snow kept falling that week, muffling the city in white. And with each day, Elias' presence grew harder to ignore. He didn't ask for permission anymore, simply was there. Outside the bookstore, at the cafe, leaning against the brick wall by my apartment door like a sentinel. The worst part was that I'd stopped trying to push him away. One Friday evening, we found ourselves sitting in my kitchen, a pot of tea steaming between us. The smell of cinnamon and orange peel filled the room. Elias was still in uniform, the faint sound of radio chatter coming from the small device clipped to his belt. "Why do you keep doing this?" I asked, wrapping my hands around my mug. "Doing what?" "Hovering, protecting me, acting like I hesitated. Like you're mine," he finished. My breath caught. "That's not what It's exactly what you mean," he said, leaning forward. His eyes were calm but unyielding. "You can tell yourself you don't want me here. You can keep burning that incense and hiding your scent. But it won't change what I feel when I look at you." I laughed, but it came out shaky. "You don't even know me." "I know enough," he replied. "Enough to see you're worth protecting." The next night, I learned what that protection really meant. I was walking home after closing up the store when I noticed a car trailing Meslow. Deliberate. My chest tightened. I ducked into side streets, doubled back twice, but the car followed. Panic clawed at me. Then the headlights vanished. A deep voice spoke behind me. "They won't bother you again." I turned to see Elias, his coat dusted with snow, breathing hard. I didn't ask what he'd done, his knuckles told the story. "You're reckless," I whispered. "You're mine," he answered. The words should have scared me. Instead, they settled in my chest like a dangerous kind of warmth. Days turned into weeks, and I found myself letting small pieces of my defenses slip. I stopped wearing the incense at home. Once, I even let my scent linger in the air when Elias was near, just to see what would happen. What happened was different. He didn't pounce, didn't corner me. He simply inhaled, slow and deep, his gaze softening in a way that made me want to both run and stay forever. "You smell like rain," he said once, almost to himself. But the illusion of safety shattered one late night when I came home to find my apartment door ajar. Inside, everything was too quiet. I barely had time to step inside before a shadow lunged from the darkness, pinning me against the wall. The scent hit me first unmistakably alpha, but wrong, aggressive, hungry. "You've been hiding well," the man growled, his eyes glinting. "But I caught it tonight, that omega scent." My mind screamed for the incense, but it was too far. His grip tightened, and then he was gone. Elias had him on the ground in seconds, his knee in the man's spine, a blade flashing in the dim light. His voice was pure steel. "You touch him again, you disappear." When it was over, he turned to me, breathing hard. His hands were bloody. "You're not safe here," he said. I swallowed. "Then where?" "With me." I should have said no. Should have told him I didn't trust him enough. But the truth was there was no one else I trusted more. So I moved into his apartment, a place high above the city, where the windows looked out over the snow and the bed was too big for just one person. The first night there, I slept without incense for the first time in years. When I woke, Elias was watching me, his expression unreadable. "You're even more dangerous without it," he murmured. "Dangerous?" I scoffed. "I'm the one who's been hunted." "Yes," he said, brushing a strand of hair from my face. "And I'm the one who's going to make sure they never touch you again." Winter melted into spring. The city grew loud again, but our world stayed small, shared breakfasts, quiet evenings, and moments where his hand would linger on mine just a heartbeat too long. The truth came out one rainy afternoon, as we stood by the window watching lightning split the sky. "I knew from the first moment," he said quietly. Knew what? That you were an Omega. The incense never fooled me. I turned to face him. Then why didn't you say anything? Because I needed you to trust me first. And because he hesitated, the words almost too heavy for the air. Because I didn't want to scare you away. Something in me broke then, not in pain but in release. Years of fear and hiding gave way to something else. I stepped forward, closing the distance between us. You could never scare me away, I whispered. He kissed me, then slow, deliberate, like claiming something he'd waited for far too long. And for the first time in years, I didn't think about danger or survival. I just thought about him. Months later, we sat on the fire escape of his apartment, watching the sunset paint the sky in gold. My head rested on his shoulder, his arm wrapped around me. The city roared below, but up here it was quiet. You know, he said, you don't have to hide anymore. Not from me. Not from anyone. I smiled faintly. I think I've known that for a while. And as the last light faded from the sky, I realized something. I had spent years running, but I had never truly been free. Until him. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.